So we decided to take a trip down to Mexico. I am, as everybody knows, fascinated with ancient civilizations, and I wanted to see some of the Mayan and Aztec cities while we were down there. We didn't get to Chichen Itza, but we got to Tulum, which has been a really big fascination of mine with the city, and I've been kind of doing some research on it. It was a really cool experience, and we really wanted to check out some of those Mayan and Aztec civilizations, and that was really the whole purpose behind the whole trip.
Good. Welcome to Tulum.
I think as far as cruise ships go, you know, they can be kind of lame, but the fact that you get to see so many different places while you're on the cruise is kind of why we like them. So every once in a while we'll take a cruise just so we can see a bunch of different places in a week's time. You know, the water is pretty amazing, as you can see from this video, and every once in a while you'd see, you know, a giant sea turtle or a dolphin or something come up, and I can sit there and stare at water for hours on end as it is. Really cool stuff. And here's Tulum. Tulum is fantastic. It was the last of the Mayan cities, so the Mayan culture was 2,000 years old. This was the last city to be built. Just about an hour drive from the main port from Cozumel. These big fucking iguanas everywhere all over the place. These two were having sex, and I didn't quite catch it on film, but they took a break while I was filming. That's the great pyramid, their temple that overlooks the ocean, the temple of the descending god. Right at the back of the temple we had the ocean and the beach front. You couldn't really see much beach because the waves were so high that day, but some real beautiful waves and water crashing as we were coming around behind the temple. So we got a little footage of that. Erin Renee, my beautiful wife, checking out the ruins. Too many people there that day. I would like to go at some time right before sunset and just check it out, try to get away from as many people as possible. It was kind of hard to do, but the tour guides were really good. They kind of let us go and do what we wanted the whole time. Coming through the walls of Tulum, the first initial view, nothing really prepares you for that first look when you come through. So we're coming through the tunnel. Nothing prepares you for that first look. It's pretty amazing.
Welcome to Tulum.
Ruins everywhere, lots of acreage, just ruin after ruin, all being overlooked by the temple of the descending god. More lizards. Lizards were everywhere. They were pretty much just running rampant through the place. I'm pretty sure some of the food we ate at the Mexican restaurants were probably actually iguana meat. Then jumped on the boat, headed out of Cozumel, and headed just north on the Yucatan Peninsula to Progreso. So we spent a little time in Progreso the next day, but took us about 7 or 8 hours actually to get in range of Progreso. They made it last all night, but nice sail around the Yucatan Peninsula up there. So we found some pyramids even in Progreso. Progreso was pretty amazing. The poverty level was pretty extraordinary, and then they were building cities right around these Mayan temples. We went down there, found this trip where they had us do some snorkeling inside these cenotes, which are basically sinkholes in Mexico filled with fresh water.
This is Erin and Renee and I getting into a cenote in Mexico.
Hello.
We're in a cenote.
Like
There's a hole.
Oh, that's
There's a big hole with, I'm pretty sure they built this 10 years ago.
we did not.
And they had tourists come in here. We are snorkeling and there's no fish. It's just a lot of rocks, and we drove 2 hours to get here.
It's awesome. Look around. Stop looking at Mark.
So we're gonna do some snorkeling, and we're gonna see a bunch of rocks. So, see ya.
Not a lot to see under the water with snorkel gear, but it was fun to be down inside these caves, just kind of chilling out in this cold water and relaxing. It was a kind of refreshing trip after being in 85-degree temperatures. Just jump in this nice fresh water down here at the bottom of these caves. That mustache is fantastic, by the way. So afterwards, they would feed us after each one of these excursions. These were actual Mayan women who, it was interesting to me that they don't even speak Spanish. They speak Yucatecan, and the food is a little bit different than what you would normally think of Mexican food. It's Yucatecan food, but the women were very cool and took care of us. You have these dogs everywhere all over Mexico. According to the guides, they're not actually strays. They belong to somebody, but they just kind of get to roam free. I was trying to feed this one, but he had no interest in eating anything I was throwing to him. Almost took him home.
You don't want that empanada, buddy? No?
Back on the ship. The ship, you know, had your normal cruise ship bullshit. You know, the shows and everything weren't anything special to see, but, you know, it was something to do between drinks of rum and coke and laying in the sun. This was pretty cool, kind of an impromptu sing-along. White people tend to do this anytime Journey comes on the radio. So everyone's got their phones out singing. All right, so I don't make plans very well, and we couldn't figure out why we were having such a hard time finding hotels in New Orleans in mid-February, and because I'm stupid and didn't realize it was Mardi Gras. So we ended up getting to stay with my brother, who is a Master Chief in the Coast Guard down there in New Orleans. Thank God he had a place down there. So we got to go down and get a little bit of the Mardi Gras experience. He lives in kind of a suburb just outside of New Orleans, so we got to see some of the smaller parades, which was fine for me because the amount of people at the smaller parades was ridiculous, and I can't imagine being on Bourbon Street for that. Mardi Gras is bigger than Christmas down there. It's crazy. So we spent some time getting to see some parades and getting to do the Mardi Gras thing while we were down there. Nothing too crazy, but it was a nice trip just to get a feel for what it's like. All in all, great trip. Like I said, cruise ships are kind of lame, and it's not really the way we like to do vacation, but it got us a chance to do what we wanted, and that was to see Tulum, which I've been fascinated, like I said, with forever. It was really cool to see those ruins and kind of walk in the footsteps of giants and be in a civilization, you know, that was there thousands of years before you came along, and get to see the history. Mardi Gras was Mardi Gras. It was a big party. I couldn't take too much of it, but we had a good time and had a few drinks and got to see some parades. Swimming in the cenotes and getting to see the Mayan people in Progreso was amazing. For those of you who haven't been to Mexico and seen the ruins, I highly recommend it. It's a spiritual journey, and it will enlighten you, and getting to see the way people live down there and then getting to see the ruins was pretty amazing. I would definitely recommend it. If we head back there again, I gotta go see Chichen Itza. But other than that, it was a fantastic trip, and I look forward to heading back to Mexico.